Alright, so this time I'm going to be going over some simple audio and some simple items, or an item system, kind of. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to do audio first, so let's do that. To show audio, I'm going to do, I guess we can go to the shmup, do it for when the ship is shooting. Go to the shmup folder, player controller. I'm gonna add it somewhere in here after we spawn it. Yeah, in the shoot thing, there you go. So, when you're adding audio to a game in Unity, you have to have first an audio listener, which audio listeners are defaulted to being attached to the main camera, and Unity doesn't like it when there's more than one audio listener in a scene. So usually if you just have your main camera, then it's going to automatically have everything on it. And then you need an audio source, which, let me add one to our player real quick. I'm just going to go to the shmup, the player, prefab. I'm going to go add component, audio. You can do audio source. And then it shows this little component, and you have to pass in an audio clip to it, which is the clip that you're going to play. And then you can change these settings to whatever you want. Like, you can set it to play when it starts. You can set it to loop. We don't want either of those. Like, if you have music in your game, you would want it to play on awake and loop. And then you would just switch the tracks out when you want to with like an audio mixer, stuff like that. You can also change like the 3D settings in here, and make it so that the further away you are, then the quieter the sound is. For now, we're just gonna do a regular 2D sound, so you can hear it wherever you are in the game. And the simplest way to do it is to just click on the audio clip, and I already have these sounds in here, so I'll just do bullet. I think you can test audio in your scene somehow. I forget how to do testing before you run your scene, but that's fine. So, in the script, we're gonna get a reference to our audio source. Just do audio source. I'll just call mine source, src. We'll grab the reference in the awake event. And then when you want to play the audio, you'll just do source.play. That should be enough to play the sound. It's probably going to be very loud though. Let me see. Let me just turn the volume down a little bit. So we have sounds playing already. Yeah, so make sure you don't have this clicked when you're testing your audio to see if it works, like I did. And if you want to put other sounds, you can just swap this audio clip out for whatever you want, and then do audio source.play. Well, there's a couple of different ways we can do it. So I'm going to show how to swap out audio clips. So I'll do public audio clip, clip 1, duplicate it. So I'll have 2 clips, and I'll say in update, if we're in the editor, and if we push O, I guess, I don't know. Then we're going to swap the audio clips. So we'll do source.clip equals clip 2. And I'll copy paste this again, and I'll say if we push I instead, we'll do clip 1. So we'll just swap clips back and forth. And then when we shoot, we'll just play the clip the same as normal. So if we do this, we need to drag in both clips. So clip 1 is going to be bullet, clip 2 is going to be shotgun. So I will shoot, hit O, and I can swap back and forth. Hoping you guys can hear that actually. Hopefully. We can also change any of these values in code if we want to. So say you have like your bullet sounds much louder than your shotgun sound and you want them to be kind of balanced, then you can change the volume by either just going down here and do source.play, like do source.volume equals this number. I'm gonna save it to a variable, volume 1, volume 2, and when I change the audio clip, I'm also gonna change the volume of my audio source. Just paste those down there. So then I can just make my shotgun really quiet. 0.4. Make this 0.8. Or that's backwards. My bullet's quiet. My shotgun's louder. Which makes more sense anyway. Oh. Gotta push I first to actually set it. Yep. So that works. And if you don't want to do, I think one of the problems with using this audio source like this is if you're playing a sound and you start playing another sound, it'll just, the other sound will be cut short and the other sound will just replace it. So it might be better instead to play the sound a little differently. I'm going to do this actually, current clip. So I'm going to save my current clip. And I'm going to do this down here. Say current clip equals volume 2. Oh, sorry, clip 2. This one I'll change my clip to clip 1. And instead of doing source.play, I'll do source.play one shot of current clip. And then because of the beginning, it's not going to have a clip, so I'm just going to do this on awake also. Set starting sound and volume. I can't really tell because the sounds aren't overlapping at all, but that does work better. I don't have a long sound that I can check in this for, but that's fine. And if you wanted to just do like background music, you just make an object and you would just do audio source, just drag in your clip, do loop and play on awake. I'll just set the volume to like 0.3 because I think it's louder than other stuff. Yeah, so then it starts playing the background automatically. And when it ends, it'll just loop back again. So, and if you want the music to play between scenes, you would just add, you would just make the object a singleton, which I will show real quick. Audio singleton. I think it's a little trickier because you would have to have singletons. There's only one instance of that in any given scene. And the problem with that is, say you're on scene 1 and you have this audio. I'll name this music. you have this, but then you load scene 2 and you save, you know, when you reload the game again, it's going to load scene 2. Then the music isn't there anymore because once you quit the game, everything's unloaded. So you'd have to have this in every scene, and then you'd have to make sure it's instantiated if you don't have it there. So singletons are kind of tricky. They're helpful, but they're kind of hard to keep track of sometimes. Public static audio singleton. It's called instance. I'll say if instance is equal to null, instance equals this, and don't destroy this. Else destroy game object. So if we don't have a current instance of our audio singleton, then we want to save the current thing, the current game object this is attached to be that instance, and then don't destroy it. Otherwise, if there's audio singleton that has the audio, then destroy yourself so you don't mess with the audio and make it clip out, whatever. So I'm going to add audio singleton. And then let me see if I can die, because I think we restart the scene. Yeah, see, so don't destroy unload shows just music. And there's like a single frame where the audio, where the music game object is still in the scene from us reloading it, and then we just destroy it. So otherwise you would have the music clipping back and forth. Like, let me show you. I hope you guys can actually hear this, because otherwise it's kind of pointless to show this. But so it's playing the audio right now. Let me let the other thing kick in. Yeah, and then it just clips back to the beginning of the song because it's not persistent between scenes. So that's helpful. But yeah, so usually if you're playing more than one sound at a time, it's helpful to do play one shot, because it uses a source to play the sound, but it doesn't directly change the audio source on the object. So down here it won't change this. It'll just play something using the source. So that works out for us in a lot of cases. So if you have like a player that has like 6 or 7 different sounds that he's going to play, then you don't want to interrupt the audio source. If you're playing a different sound, you'd want to play one shot so it doesn't interrupt it. So
wait, was there supposed to be music playing?
Yeah, you can't hear anything, can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's fine. I'm just gonna imagine it works.
It's fine.
You can hear it, right?
You can hear it, right?
I mean, I can hear it.
Oh, then jitterbugging.
Let me do this.
Jitterbugging.
Let me do this. Share test project. Does this have audio now, hopefully? Let me see. Can you hear the audio now? Or no?
Still not. So I don't think Discord is picking up the audio.
It's supposed to if you're capturing just that scene. Or just that
there
window.
is now.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there is now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. So,
Okay.
yeah. So let me show that again then. So if you don't have a singleton for the audio, then when you're playing the sounds, also I can make it louder so it's more audible. Let me let the thing kick in. So you hear that, and then just clips back. So yeah, that's more noticeable. But so that's why we have an audio mixer or an audio singleton on there, so it doesn't keep clipping back to the beginning of the song, so it doesn't restart. Let me go down a little bit. On the recording, it should have all the audio. Though let me share the screen again so it's better. There you go. Because it's hard to share screen with just Unity because I have to show Visual Studio. So I have to switch back and forth for that. So it's just, yeah, it's fun.
That's fine. We can just listen to the once we record it.
Yeah, that should come up in the recording. Pretty sure the volume should be pretty loud in the recording actually this time because I had it up for a bit. So that's basic audio. So you want to have questions about that before I go on to items or try to do some items? I don't know. I don't really have a plan for this. I'm just going to kind of go into it. All right. So let me do this real quick. I'm going to make a player object. Probably just going to add the player movement stuff so we can walk around. I think I saved that to something before. Action sprites. I need these to be 32 and point filter. There we go. I forget what I did. One of them just had a basic player movement. Tower defense. That one. No. I think it was, yeah, just move player. Yeah, that's it. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to add move player, which just says move up, down, left, right if you push those directions. And why is there ellipse speed? To rotate towards the camera. Okay, so that's going to look a little weird because we're supposed to use 4 sprites for this guy, but that's fine. We'll do that when we actually work on the action game. This is just to test the items out. So rigid body, 2D with 0 scale and like 7 linear drag, maybe like 10 linear drag. And then box collider. I'm going to shrink down a little bit. Up this speed a little more, I think. See if it works. It's gonna look weird because yeah, it's gonna aim like that, but that's fine. So for he's not moving now. If it's not that, move. Oh, okay. For some reason he wasn't moving at all. Cool. So I'm gonna add to this camera. Follow player, camera controller. Add the player there, make it like 10 so we can look around. Yeah, so we can look around. We'll fix that later on when we do more of the action game. But so for items, you have to consider a few different things. You have to think of like, first off, what are the items going to be? Like, I'm thinking I'm going to do like weapons and maybe potions. So you can go around and shoot. Well, you just swing because it's an action game, but I'll do shoot because that's easy to show different types of shooting, rather than just do a bunch of animations. And then the potions would be like, you have X amount of potions, and when you use it, you use one of the uses, and when you have no uses left, then they disappear from your inventory. And also you have to do inventory stuff, so that's more to think about. And UI, how you do want to display those things. So there's a lot of planning to go into inventory and item things. So I'm gonna make a basic item class that that specific items are gonna inherit from. Like all the items are equipable. they're usable. They have different uses that you can define in different scripts. We could have a uses for it and just give maybe a bool that says it's a consumable or not. Because potions are consumables, but you can't consume your weapon. You can't get rid of your weapon. Maybe it has uses as in like durability, but we're not going to worry about that for now. So first I'm just going to make a base item class. Oh, and they have, if you have a shop, they'll have cost, they'll have name, description. If they're weapons, they'll have damage, stuff like that. So a lot of things to consider when setting that up. So I'm going to go, I don't know if we need a mono behavior for this. Okay, I hope not. We'll see. Public virtual void. We'll have a use case for it. For each weapon, we'll have a. I guess we can give it a name and stuff. Public string name. Description. Public float cost. We'll do public bool. I guess we don't need consumable on this one. We can define that in the actual ones that are consumable. Yeah, that might be good. Yeah, I'm not sure what else we need here. Let's see. We might need a sprite to show it. Item sprite. I'll just call it iSprite. So like when you're trying to buy it, you would have a little icon that displays it so you can tell what you're gonna buy. Or if you have it equipped, you'll be able to tell what it is by the icon being displayed in the UI in the top left or whatever you want to display it. Yeah, I think that's good for now. Let's see. And then I'm gonna make another class. I'm gonna name this one consumable. I'm gonna make one more called weapon. So when I'm gonna go into consumable. Actually, let's do this. Let's make another folder and call it items. Drag these in there so we don't get confused later about where to find it. Action items, we have consumable, item, and weapon. So consumable is going to inherit from item. We might as well inherit from mono behavior for now. Unless we want to make it serializable. In this I name, so it doesn't get confused with the name of the game object. Yeah, I'll keep that for now. We might change that later, but so inherits from item. So we have to say what use is going to do in this case. So we'll say public override void use. And we'll say public int uses. We also need actually a function that does remove. So that when we're done with the item, then we remove it from our inventory. So consumable is going to have use and remove. So we'll do uses minus minus, and we'll say if uses less than or equal to 0, then remove. Remove is just going to say go to the player's inventory and remove this from it, which is probably going to be a list of items, which we'll set up in a minute. So this one's going to find the player and heal him. Probably get a reference to the player. It's fine for now. We'll grab it later. It's going to also inherit from item. Public override or use. Whoops. And remove. And we might want to make a sell function later instead of just a remove. Remove should just go to the inventory and remove it from the inventory. Maybe we can just make this not even an inherited one, but like a regular void in the main class. It's fine. It's fine for now. So the weapon is gonna have probably an attack, a damage. It'll have see, we can go even further and make a melee weapon class and a ranged weapon class and have them both inherit from weapon and say, okay, melee weapon's gonna play this animation and ranged weapon is gonna do this but also spawn a projectile. But I'm just gonna do all ranged right now, so because it's easier to show off. I'm gonna do time between attacks, float cooldown, and I'll have a thing to spawn. That should be good for now. Using weapon. And then I'll go to consumable, and I'll say when we use it, we'll do using consumable. So that's good. We need one more script to test this out. We'll make it a I'll just call it inventory. So the player's inventory is going to be this. Inventory is going to have public list of items. We'll do equals new list item. Thinking of how we want to display this. Because I think I want to have this inventory be attached to a child of the player to show he's like carrying a thing. But if you want to, I mean, because you could do animation transitions based on what item you're holding, or you could do what is it, layers? You can do animation layer and have the player animations play separately from them holding things and just have them hold things on top of what they're already doing for animations. I just want to make a child sprite of the player though and show them holding a thing. Like I have weapons that I made. Let's see. Big ass weapons. Oh no, they're small now because they're this is gonna be big though. Yep, giant Colt. Yeah. So like change this real quick. holding it there, and I can just, yeah, so it'll rotate around. This will work actually too. Oh, yeah. Kind of aiming a little weird, but it's fine. Yeah, I'll fix this here too. Let's see. I'll do the player move, and I'll grab this part and update, and I'll say it's fine. Minus 90. I need to just be that, I think. This won't look weird. Oh, it does look weird because the player is rotating and when I want to rotate. Let me fix that real quick, sorry. Like bool rotate equals false. If rotate that's fine, I think. Let's see what happens. Oh, we didn't add the inventory, huh? Yeah, that makes sense. An inventory there. And then, yeah. So it's looking a little weird, but that's fine. So it looks at the mouse at least, so we can at least shoot it and test it out. So we want a couple helpful functions in here. Do public void add item, and I'll do item items dot add I. Also gonna check and see if we already have items. If not, items dot contains I. So don't add duplicates of our items. And then I'll do remove item. And I'll do if we have an item, then remove that item. That should be good. Oops. Code item. And I'm going to make it so we start with an item. So if we start with no item, we can't aim at anything or do anything. Probably just have a blank state for if there's no items though, but it's fine. Public void equip item. Slot, I guess. To have a function to equip an item. Oh, current item, not slot. Dumb. So for this, we'll just say, let's save our sprite renderer. And we'll save our current item. So item, oh. Call it iSlot instead. Sorry, different names. So I will change the sprite renderer to be what the current item is. So in awake, we need to also find the sprite renderer. And then I'll do ren.sprite equals items slot. I'll just do this. Do current slot. Dang it, I keep forgetting I needed that. Equals slot, and then equip from I slot. Sprite. And then I'll do items maybe that'll work. So current item equals items is that one. And then I'll say if input.get key down. Oh, let's do mouse button instead. Get mouse down. Get mouse button down 0. Do current item dot use. I think this should be a reference to the item, specific item in inventory. Hopefully that's fine. If not, we can just say use items iSlot instead of saving it to another variable. We'll see. So use the item, and then use item should say so far using weapon or using consumable. And then I will do a thing real quick for switching. Oops. If we push, if we get mouse 1, I guess. If we push mouse, if we right click, then we'll switch items. We'll do equip item, and we'll pass in our current slot. Let's do this actually. I slot +1 mod slot items dot count. This way we'll check the slot in front of us, in front of our current item. So if we're at 0, we'll check 1. But if we have if we don't have 2 items, then it'll loop back to the first slot again, so it doesn't get us out of bounds. Hopefully, we might have to check count -1, but we'll see. I don't think so. So let's see if we can actually add an item now. Let's do inventory. We'll say 1. So we need to make an item. So I'm gonna create empty. I'm gonna do 0, 0. There's ways too where you can, like for a shop, for example, you're gonna save the prefabs of the items, and then you could just drag in the references to the prefabs, and then if you have a shop, you can just grab randomly from those items and then sell them to the player. You just add them to the inventory when they buy them. Let's do Colt. So I'm gonna get rid of this because it should automatically update the sprite based on what item we have equipped. I'll do sprite renderer because I forgot to add a sprite renderer to this. I'll drag in that one. So there it is. And we want to do weapon. We'll do Colt. Do shoot. shoot fast. Cost is 100. Our sprite, we can actually set our sprite to grab from this sprite, but I'll just select. I'll just select it from there. So it's gonna have no sprite, and it would work. Also, projectile we need, so I'm gonna drag in the we had a prefab from the test game, Pong Ball. Projectile there. I think this might work. Particle instance. Yeah, I think that works. Just drag in projectile there. It's fine. That should look like this. It's a giant bullet, but whatever. Switching attacks is like 0.2. Oh, also we'll do this. Oh, we're gonna shoot infinitely actually, because I didn't update the cools on here. So use the item, and then also we need to go into the weapon. Maybe this? Maybe we'll do this instead. Oops. Let's make a generic cooldown. So a generic cooldown that's going to be in every item. And we'll just say in the inventory, we'll say float item cools. I'll say if that and item cools is less than or equal to 0, then we use it. We just need a reference to the shit. Let's do this. I'll make a public function, public void set cools. My dog yelling for no reason. And we'll just say cools equals C. Because I don't wanna make item cools public. I don't want it to show up in the inspector or anything like that, or have anything modify this. Although I guess this is modifying it anyway, but that's fine. So I'm going to go to here and I'll say use. And do one more thing here. I will do, we don't have an awake function in here, right? We don't. Okay, yeah. So I can just go void wake. Dog's coming to my room now. Cool. We'll do inventory I guess I'll just do it lowercase, whatever. Inventory equals find object type. So find inventory, and we'll just do dot set cools to cooldown. And then in use, we just need to say base dot use. Give me just a second. Okay, sorry. So we have a cooldown of 0.2 seconds or something. And this one can be Can I make iSlot public, really? Whatever. Don't need it to be public. So then I'm going to save the cult under here, and I can delete it, and in inventory I can drag it on to there. Finish selling Death Stranding. Cool, thanks, Steam. And hopefully this works. Yeah. Except for base.use. Why can't you use base.use? To avoid use, set cools, cooldown. Object reference not set. Weird. It's not gonna work otherwise though, huh? So it works here, but it's not actually shooting anything. I didn't tell it to shoot actually, that makes sense. Instantiate projectile. This might be a different angle though, but that's fine. Let me check real quick. Public. Yeah, base.use. Why is base.use not working? Strange. Because it's not instantiated? Yeah, so this is trying to use the base one, but it's not instantiated anywhere, so it's giving an error. Let's try this then. I will do an item. Weapon, I'll just paste this one, and I'll do this in there too. Let's see. Because it's not instantiated, yeah, that's why. Makes sense. Okay, yeah, we can do this then. That's fine. So base.use. I can fix this. So we just need to instantiate it whenever we need it then. So let's see. For inventory, we just need to, when you add the item, we need to do item item equals instantiate I, and we need to add new item. If we have an item, then remove it. Yeah, so when we first add an item, we're going to instantiate, like make a copy of it, and then Yeah, that should be good. Because it's not going to show anything on its own unless you want to show it in the UI for a shop or something like that. Then in awake we can just say add item need to add this first item though. Let's do this. Public item. Add item, first item, and then equip it. Hopefully that's good. Let's see. So it should instantiate a copy of the cult, and it should be in the scene like this. But also we won't be able to see it because we'll just disable the sprite there. So it'll spawn a copy of this, and then it'll automatically assign it right there to it. So let's see, we just need to set the starting inventory to 0 and drag in cult for the first item, and hopefully this works. Yep, I knew I was going to mess up too. The angle is not getting the angle of the weapon right. Oh, because it's not spawning at the player's position, it's spawning at the weapon's position, that's why. Gotcha. Let's see. We could also just, because this is just a weapon script thing, we could also just add it like this and then drag it onto there, and it would get a reference to that too. That would fix the problem of having to assign a position every time too. I guess we could try that too. Let's see. It's looking for reference to a script. It doesn't have to be instantiated per se, and if it's attached to the inventory, it should automatically get these calls too. So let's see. Goes instantiate I equals game object dot add component item. See if that works any better. That way it's there in the scene technically still, hopefully. So it adds it right there. But it doesn't initialize any of its stuff over here. So we need to initialize all of this, copy all this stuff over. Okay, let's see then. New item dot initialize with I. So I'll just go to item and I'll make a new function. Public virtual void initialize item I. And then I'll go into weapon and I'll say initialize by doing this. Let's make sure it's an override void. So when we initialize, we want to just pass all of our values into our new object. So we'll say something like projectile equals I.projectile. Let's do this in order. So we'll do iname equals I.iname. We'll do, let me just copy these over, let's see. Oh, there we go. Whoops. So we'll just delete, 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 and delete. And we'll say description equals i.description, cost equals i.cost, iSprite equals i.iSprite, cooldown equals i.cooldown. Then we need to do weapon equals w equals i.getComponent, and we'll do projectile equals w.projectile, and attack equals w.attack. This way, when we spawn, we'll just call this with the properties of the prefab and pass them all in. And we can do the same thing for this one later. See if this works. Hopefully it does. I haven't tested this. Let's see. Did not work. Inventory. It's not being called on awake now. New item dot initialize. So we're adding a blank item. Let's see. Let's see. So it's not calling initialize for some reason. Let me see. Give me a second. That's too much work. Click static, no, that doesn't work. I need to put one to another. Yeah, same thing they did. Okay. There should be a way to get this to work. Initialize item I. I need a reference to it, but I guess you could just child it to the player too, huh? It'd be easier than initializing, but it's kind of cheatsy. Equals instantiate I, and we'll do new item dot transform dot set parent to just transform maybe. Do this only if you don't have any inventory already. This would be more involved too, where you would have to destroy this item. See if this works. Yeah, so it works now. Huh. It's a cheatsy way to do it, but that works. Also, I knew this was going to happen. The rotations, the bullets are... The gun is facing to the right at the beginning, but the bullets are facing up at the beginning, so they're 90 degrees off from each other. But maybe 90 degrees off, I think? I don't know. We'll see. Yep, 90 degrees. So that works. So then we'll just say something like, if we want to remove the object, then we can destroy I. Add new item. Yeah, so that should work. So I will do a button real quick to remove an item if input dot keycode dot K, I guess. I don't know. Remove item currents. Sorry, I slot. I keep forgetting that. I might want to expand on this next time, just so we can get like a UI and a shop going and stuff like that. So then if I push K, it does not destroy the actual item, but it removes it from the inventory. Let's see. So we instantiate new item. We add new item. Why is that not destroying the item then? Oh, because we're not setting the... Wait. Let me see this. This one's not getting destroyed for some reason. The reference to it is getting destroyed. Interesting. Equip item says that. Remove items. If it contains that item. Maybe we should check the name. Maybe we should just check the name and see if it's the same name. Contains item. Let me see this again. So if I click it, it's referencing the script there. Oh, because I'm removing the script, not the game object. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, cool. So we'll do destroy up here i.game object. You also have to trickle down the list. I think the list would automatically, since it removes it, it would move everything back. I think lists automatically do that. They automatically fill the little spot, so there's no null. They're not like arrays where you have to shift everything back by yourself manually. I guess we'll find out if I when I do the potion. So if I do K, it destroys it. Yep, it just keeps this because it doesn't equip the other item. So yeah. So if we do this now, we don't need any of this actually. I'll keep this in case I want to fix it, because I know there's a way to do this way. but for item, there we go. I was trying to find it. And this doesn't do that yet. Yeah, so that's good. So when we use it, we'll just say base not use. We'll just debug it and do it that way. I think that's probably fine. Usually you would just do reference to the player object and then up their health and then decrease uses and do that. We can also do this too. We can say does a public reference? No, make it protected. So with remove, we can just say inventory dot remove item this. Yeah. So we can just remove it that way. And then I will make another object. We don't need a sprite for it at all, do we? No, we don't. This one doesn't need this anymore. It's fine. We'll just create empty 0, 0. And we'll do consumable. And we'll do weak potion. Get some stronger potions. 20 for Sprite. I think I have a potion Sprite. Blood potion Sprite, close enough. Cooldown is like a second or something. I don't know. Uses is 3. You can also set like a heal amount or consume amount, you know. Or I guess there's more specifics you can do for consumables. Like, oh, this is going to increase your strength for 90 seconds or something. And I've seen stuff with clickable objects of that where you can just save your data all in assets and then just use coroutines and stuff to modify the player's stats or whatever for a certain amount of time. But again, more complicated than what we're going into right now. I'm going to say I'm going to save a reference to that other one so we can add it too. So I'll duplicate it and I'll say second item. And I'll say if we push item H, then we're going to add item, right? We just did add item right there. And right mouse button should automatically try to change items for us. So we'll see if that works too right now. So this is going to be second item. I can delete it from here. Look at that real quick. So I can go. We just have the cult equipped. If I push H, adds potion. It keeps duplicating, adding more potions. Then I can do right mouse button to switch. The potion's really small, but it's there. Let's change the sprite. There you go. So that's a big potion. Bigger potion. Whatever. And then I'll do K to remove. K to remove. Switch to the cult. K to remove. So it should automatically switch to the next weapon. So that also we see here that there are no empty slots that are being overridden. So we can we don't have to worry about fixing our list after we delete an item. It should do it for us. So we can do when we remove an item, then we want to equip item slot +1. Yeah, so we can try that. Ideally, you just wouldn't let the player get rid of their last item, their last weapon, or you would have a case where they have a blank item, where it would just be none of these things, and make it so you can't delete that item. So let's see, I'm going to add some potions, and I will delete, and it automatically switches to the next weapon. And then let me see, so I have 2 uses on this potion now. Let me actually see if I can modify it. Uses 1, uses 0, and then it's not deleting it though. That's not what it should be doing. Let's see. Oh, base.remove. There you go. And then remove the item. We'll just say base.remove 2. We got a minute left, so I'm gonna hurry, and this should work right now anyway, so we should be good. So we have potion in that, and we can say delete this, and then, oh shit, never mind, ignore that. I will use it. I think the game just broke because it broke because I was trying to use an item and I didn't have H. I'll do 2 of those, so remove that, and then I will use, and then it's gone, and then use, and then it breaks because I don't want to have no item equipped. So yeah, cool. Basic item system so far. I'll probably do more after spring break for that, just because that's interesting. It's more advanced, trying to do a bunch of different things, interacting with each other, but it's cool, I think. But yeah, hopefully that was interesting for you guys.
That was pretty interesting. Thanks, Cole.
Yeah,
Thank
that was
you.
pretty interesting. Thanks, Cole.
And yeah, I will message you guys in about a week and a half to say the assignment, or to say the progress reports due, because that's at the end of the spring break. But yeah, it's just your term project progress, so just keep up with your term project during break, and maybe get ahead on the other 2 micro games, the last 2, because progress reports 7 and 8, or sorry, 6 and 7. Progress reports 6 and 7 are going to be your micro games, the last 2, and then 8's going to be the actual finished term project, and that has to be in a build, but I'll show you how to do that later on. So yeah, have a good break, guys.